benefit from that is being carried. Do you genuinely think the killer shouldn't get any benefit for doing what he's supposed to do? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, probably the devs are on your side because they're nerfing. Well, they're looking into bloodless, aren't they? Meanwhile, it probably runs with DS and Soul Guard without even feeling anything. What's your survivor build? What's your survivor build, Mister? Mister, you get carried. No, but in seriousness, do you not think the killer should be rewarded for pressuring gens? That was a quick one. I thought you had sprint burst. Did you just wear sprint burst instantly? I'm assuming you think that the balance fundamental of this game. Nice. The fundamental. God, every time a survivor's okay at the game, they have to click it up. Oh, you got sprint burst? Yeah. We're gonna make him waste a god pallet here. Oh wow, completely wasted. Let me concentrate. These guys look like they're sure. These guys look like they're quite confident. Oh, that's gonna help them. Did you take her out of Dream? No, we didn't. Okay. Wasted? Nice. They're wasting pallets a lot. Right. Another injury guy here. We're both gonna stay at this side, I think. It's the free gem map, this. But I'm assuming, because you think like Ruin Undying is carried, I'm assuming you think all gen defense perks are carried, right? So you genuinely believe that gen speed by default is fine. Oh wow, they did a gen behind me? Holy fuck. Okay, we need to get over there. These guys seem kind of switched on. It's probably why they're all teabagging and shit. Hey. There's the dead hard. We need to get this side because they've stopped the free gem from that side. Very smart. Looking like a strong team. You think the game is super survivor side, except when the killer uses Ruin Undying. Right. So you think that the game's unfair for killer, but if they use Ruin Undying, then it gets fairer, but that's being carried? Now you're very confusing. Get rid of his DS. That looked like I reached in and hit him. Don't even need to get rid of his DS. Just leave him there. We got the free gen map, where basically you do the same strategy every single time you get this map. I definitely wish there were more to it. Oh, I wanted to... He gets his DS still, right? Being a bit harsher on these guys because they were trying to annoy me at the start. Pointing and clicking all the time. Not like really harsh, but like more kind of, I'm not gonna make it as fun as I usually will. Because usually I purposely play in a fun way so they get loads of chases and stuff. But it is annoying when they like click at you. Need to watch out for this free gen still. They could come behind me. I'm going to humor this chase a bit, but I'm not going to commit. I'm probably going to get rid of a pallet and then go back. Might actually be able to get him. Okay, this is dangerous because they could do a gen behind me. But yeah, the Ruin Undying thing really confuses me, I'm not going to lie. Because I know that loads of Survivor mains, right? They always complain about face camping, right? Face camping, camping, all that kind of shit. But Ruin Undying stops people from doing that. You literally won't get any use out of Ruin Undying if you face camp. So it's such a weird one for me that it's complained about. Nice. Good bit. That was bad though. It rewards the killer for pressuring gens. If you don't have Ruin Undying versus a good team, your pressuring gens does nothing. You have to slug, you have to 2 and 1 hook. You cannot have a fun 12 hook game. And I could do a debate about that and feel insanely confident going in, knowing that that is correct. Ruin Undying is anti-camp. It blows my mind how survivors complain about it. It's literally anti-camp. The killer gets off the hook and he goes after another person for a chase who he downs if he, you know, is good versus it. And then he pressures the other gens with Tinkerer. He pressures the other gens, which are getting close to being completed as well. He does literally what you need to do as killer. And dies overkill as a main killer, you could say. Genuinely, when I hear people say that, you don't go against a high caliber survivor team. You don't go against high caliber survivors. You know, if you think Ruin Undying is overkill, you don't go against high level survivors. In my opinion. Because it wouldn't make sense if you did. It just wouldn't make sense. Because you'd know. If you went against high level survivors, really good survivors, you'd know. It wouldn't be questionable. You'd just know. You'd be like, yeah, this isn't that crazy. They get rid of it like instantly. Even when I do have it, I still find it quite difficult to pressure. Their coordination, their movement, their efficiency at the game is very, very hard to pressure even with this. Like, you'd know. So from that, I believe that you don't go against, you know, good survivors. What I define as good survivors, not what you define. Because what you define might be different to what I define, obviously. Basically, there's two things in the current state of DVD what you can wish for. Killers pressuring gens when they're about to be done. Or killers face camping and tunneling and slugging. Because you won't be able to have a killer not pressuring gens and going for 12 chases. Nice. I expected that. I expected that too. Better? Oh, I hear you. She went for a flashlight save, I think. Did she? Yeah. Very sneaky. I saw something recently. It was a killer playing with no gen defense, right? And because they weren't playing with gen defense, they obviously needed to slug because they got to 1 gen, and then they needed to slug everyone, or they genuinely wouldn't have had enough time, right? And I saw both perspectives. It had the perspective of the killer, perspective of the survivor. And you know what the survivor said? Oh my god, what a lame killer. So what do you want? Do you want all lame killers? Or do you want abilities for killers who get rewarded for pressuring? Which one do you want? Because, like, you only can have one of them. You only can have all lame killers who will literally just slug all the time. Or you can have these killers. I don't want to use Rune Undying all the time, by the way. I really don't. I wish I could have way more variety in my builds. But you only can have variety in your builds versus bad survivors. So, do you just create bad builds for when you go against bad survivors or average survivors, and whenever you go against good survivors, you just lose? Or do you, whenever you go against good survivors, you just slug everyone? But how do you know the good survivors? When do you start slugging? Like... Survivor Maze on Twitter complained about Freddy, what his teleport gone. It's just never ending. It's never ending. It's so... I've said this before, and I'm going to go off this because I don't want to... I want to talk about this. But I've said this before. The survivors who are asking for all this stuff, they don't know what they are creating. If you make it where a killer physically, no matter how much they outplay you, no matter how much they pressure, physically cannot get 12 hooks in the time you do 5 gens, they will not get 12 hooks. What does that mean? That means they will slug you. That means they will 1-hook you. That means you will get 1 chase a game, not 3. Is that what you want? Because that's what you're asking, without even realizing it. I swear to God, that is literally what you're asking without realizing it. Lee John, thank you for the 10. Appreciate it, man. And yes, it is. I hope it is for you as well, mate. Like, you need to be careful, guys. You need some foresight. I believe it is. You need to try and look at the causality of it all. The cause and effect. The cause, making it so it's physically impossible, even though the killer is really way better than you, it's physically impossible for them to 12 hook. If you make that happen, you will not get 12 hooks. You will get 4 hooks. You will get 5 hooks. You will get 6 hooks. What's that mean? That means that 1, 2, 3 of you are all getting 1 hooked. You get 1 chase. That's it. And then you're slugged on the floor, and then you all need to use Unbreakable, and then everyone slugs, and then they get up, and then they pick them up, and then you're slugged again, and then you're all put on the hook. Oh, wow, that's so riveting. That's so interesting. So fucking interesting. What an interesting game that would be. And that's what the game pretty much is already at high level. But it'll be that times a million more. The weaker, I should say. The weaker the killer is forced to be. Do you get me? Boom. End of my little soapbox.